So hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Galaxy Buds 2. These are the latest true wireless earbuds from Samsung, announced at the same time as the Z Flip 3 and the Z Fold 3. Some of the main specifications obviously is active noise cancellation, smaller form factor, also very lightweight. You probably will forget that you have them in your ears. This is TK and this is my review of the Buds 2. Let's check them out. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. So this is the package, pretty simple. We have a USB type A to USB type C connection cable here to be able to charge the buds if we want to charge them via wire. We also have some replaceable ear tips. They do come with the medium size fitted and you're able to basically change them between the large or the smaller size. And of course we have the buds themselves. Now the color I went with is the black color on the inside, although even though it's darker on the inside, it's actually lighter on the outside. And for the most part, if you actually have to kind of compare it, it actually has pretty much the same footprint as the Galaxy Buds Pro that were announced earlier in the year. The big difference obviously is a lower price point and a little bit better as far as active noise cancellation and weight. They definitely feel a little bit lighter. Now one thing to keep in mind, there's going to be 4 different colors available. The one I have right here is the Graphite. There's a white, an olive, and a lavender, and you're able to pick them up. Mostly, all of the cases are going to be colored white on the outside, and the difference will be basically matched on the inside. So the earbuds will match the actual casing on the inside to be the exact same color. Now some of the main specifications of the features we have is a dynamic two-way speaker on each earbud, machine learning based solution to be able to get a better audio experience, 3 microphones plus VPU on each earbud, which makes it very nice, and of course charging via the Polka pins available here on the side. We have active noise cancellation and ambient sound on them, and you're able to switch between the two by pressing and holding on each earbud. Now as far as the actual capacity of the battery, each earbud has a 61 milliampere battery, and of course the case itself has a 472 milliampere battery. We're rated to play basically up to 20 hours with active noise cancellation and up to 29 hours without active noise cancellation on the buds themselves. And as far as connectivity, we have auto switch, which enables us to switch between multiple devices that are running same Samsung account. So you have to be logged into the same Samsung account on that. Of course, as well as some controls and other things that we can do with the app on the actual smartphone. Now, of course, to be able to control our application, we do need to download the Samsung Wear app. So you just download it right there. Now, first and foremost, it's not going to show any settings there unless we open it up. So we're going to go ahead and open up the case. You'll notice right away it shows me basically the noise control, touch control, all the different options that were in there. Also shows me basically the left and right battery is at 100% and that the case is at 80%. So you always have access. If you unlock this, let's go ahead and close this. I'll close the actual buds real quick. This is how it would look like if you activated them without being in the app. It's going to show up with a little prompt at the bottom giving us the same information. Of course, I can actually dismiss it and then we could just jump back into the app. Now the really cool thing that we have here is that we have 3 different levels. We have active noise cancellation in here. We can also jump into off and ambient sound. And of course you can control the different level of the ambient sound volume on there. Now if I put my hand and one finger on one of the earbuds, it'll actually start cycling between the different options. I can press it again and it'll jump back. You can also activate it to jump between all 3. For now, I have it just going between active and ambient. So in case I want to talk to somebody, I don't have to take the buds out of my ears. The other thing as far as configuration, we have a couple of options. Earbud settings, find my buds, and of course tips. Touch control is also not active by default. You do need to go in there and activate it. So you have the single tap, the double tap, the triple tap, and of course touch and hold. Right now, this is what it's doing as far as being able to switch. You can have it go for voice command using Bixby, or you can also have it use a volume up or volume down. For me, I typically tend to just basically want to do, let's say, a voice command. So let's go ahead and on the left ear tip, we're going to say voice command. We're going to jump back. I'm going to press and hold. I'll give it a second. And at this point, you can select the assistant that you want if you don't have it predetermined. So for me, I'm just going to go ahead and say Google as all the time, and it will launch the assistant for me on my smartphone. So this is something very important. It does have built-in options as well for other options like Bixby Voice Wake Up. So if you turn this on, it will override what we just did. But if you just want to use the assistant on your smartphone, this is going to be the best way. Built-in EQ, customizable. This is on top of the the EQ that's built into your smartphone, but this is the best way to customize it. You can also have it read your notification aloud when you get them. Very nice. Again, as I mentioned, Wake Up with Bixby. I personally don't use it, but if you do, it's basically present right there. Now, seamless earbud connection, which is what I mentioned to you guys, is allows us to actually switch between multiple devices logged in with the same Samsung account. And it works really good because for me, I actually like to use the earbuds with my the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic here when I'm on the go. It has LTE, and of course, I'm able to put some of my music on it to enjoy it on the way. Lastly, we also have the ability of doing an ear fit, and this is something that's interesting. So I'll go ahead and start the test itself. It plays a little sound in the earbuds, and it tells me basically if the fit is correct. Initially, when I first got them, I was getting a poor fit on my left one, and I've learned how to put the buds in my ear to work correctly. Use ambient sound during phone calls. This is something you can turn on, so if you get a phone call and you're talking, you're able to basically turn on ambient noise automatically, and that helps so you can actually be a little bit more aware of the sound around you. Since you're not listening to music, you typically want to be able to hear some things around you. Lastly, we have a couple of options under labs. Double tap for each earbud here on the edge to be able to turn on volume, and of course gaming mode for lower latency. Lower latency does actually work much better if you have any problems, although it does kind of shorten the distance of the earbuds, meaning how far you can be from your phone to the earbuds themselves. But overall, it does definitely work, and it does the job quite well. The double tap earbuds edge, it's a great feature, but weird enough, does not work for me. I've tried so many times to activate it. It just is not very sensitive for me, or maybe it's the shape of my ears. It is an option if you want to try it, but unfortunately it did not work with me. We have the ability of turning on reset there. Accessibility is pretty standard. Noise control with one earbud, and customize ambient sound if you want to be able to go further than the typical one that you get at the beginning of it. Lastly, updating the software in there, and of course that's pretty much standard. And I did receive a couple of updates since I've received them about a week and a half ago. And that's pretty much it. Find My Earbuds works with SmartThings, and of course tips and user manual. This is in case you want to activate it. And that's pretty much the experience that you're going to get here. One thing I will say though, as far as capabilities of these earbuds, let's go ahead and turn on some music. Now, as far as being able to test out some of the qualities on here, one thing I will say is the maximum quality audio we're able to get here is 24-bit at 48 kilohertz. So let's go ahead and jump into this playlist, and I'm going to go ahead and start playing some Ultra HD music here. And of course, it does support FLAC or higher quality audio depending on your player. So let's go ahead and hit the Ultra here. You see right there, it's playing at 24-bit, 41 kilohertz, even though it can still go all the way to 48, and it is supporting it with Audio HD. As far as tuning and the sound experience that we're going to get here, this is pretty much going to be, for the most part, bass heavy. Even though we go in there and we're able to customize the audio experience directly within the EQ, I will probably say this much. They definitely sound good, but they're definitely going to be more tuned into bass. So dance, EDM, rock, hip-hop, anything with a heavier bass track is definitely going to sound really good. And then mids and lows sound pretty decent overall as far as audio performance. They're a true pair of wireless buds from Samsung that sound great, and of course gives you the ability of enjoying them. And let's go ahead and switch over real quick to a quick sample of the audio from these microphones using the camera on the Z Fold 3. So I wanted to do a real quick audio test of how do these microphones on the Buds 2 sound. There's a little bit of ambient sound going around me, and of course we're in the backyard, so all the noises that you're normally going to be having around you, unless you're in a really quiet area, this should be a good example of how the audio from the microphone should be sounding on phone calls, video calls, or even when you're recording video. Samsung has that really nice feature under the Pro Video that enables you to use Bluetooth earbuds as the audio source. You can also mix it up with the built-in microphones if you have somebody else in the shot, but overall, this should be a good example. So one thing I would probably say is, at the announcement, I was a little bit interested to see what was the approach that Samsung was trying to do with the Buds 2. We already have the Buds Pro that were announced, and they definitely sounded really good. So these earbuds are offering us long battery life, amazing range. I'll say this much. I was actually able to put it from one side of my house all the way to the other side and by the end of my backyard. And I was able to actually listen without it skipping a beat, not even a stutter, not even a dropped connection. And that's the biggest performance here that you want to understand. The Bluetooth connectivity is super strong. If you switch on low latency, it does shorten the distance, but it doesn't compromise the experience. So that's something that's very important to understand. Buds 2 are offering us great audio, although a little bit more bass heavy. I would definitely say that if you're interested to listen, let's say a dance, EDM, hip hop, anything with somewhat, like I said, somewhat of a heavier bass track, you're not going to be disappointed. They're definitely going to sound great. Controlling them with the app works perfectly fine. As I said, I also love using it with my Galaxy Watch Classic 4 here. And the reason behind that is I'm actually able to download libraries of music, let's say Google Play Music, on the watch, and of course pair my buds and go outside and run. The biggest difference, of course, since this has LTE, it gives me the ability of actually using them without needing a phone when I'm outdoors. So I can make calls, receive calls, and of course listen to music off my watch. And of course, transition between the two is really seamless. It's very nice. Samsung does a decent job of keeping the ecosystem, or Samsung's ecosystem, humming very nicely, no pun intended there, with their entire bud. So if you're looking to pick them up, I can definitely appreciate what Samsung's offering us, and I would recommend them to you guys. Definitely for a great pair of buds to work with any Samsung smartphone, and they should work pretty much the same with any other smartphone. The only difference is you do need to download the Samsung Wear app so that you're able to actually use and, of course, at the end of the day, update the software as time goes on. So there's really no limitation there to what you can do with these buds too. At the end of the day, my hope is that you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support, and I'll see you in the next video.